In our feature segment today, Farm Week's Amy Taylor reports on a brother and sister from Pontotoc, Mississippi, who are putting a new spin on the term local food.
Artists, in the past few years, the concept of supporting local farmers markets and naturally grown products has really taken off in Mississippi. However, many of these items are only available on a seasonal basis. St. Bethany Fresh Farms in Pontotoc is working to fill a niche market for pesticide-free, locally produced tomatoes all year long. Using rather unconventional methods like counting leaves on plants, the new operation has had great success in its first year. With about 3,000 tomato plants growing in what's called a hydroponic greenhouse, St. Bethany Fresh in North Mississippi is not your typical tomato venue. The farm is a family business run by Stephen Hale and his sister Leah Beth Murphy, which inspired the name for the operation.
St. Bethany came from, it's part of my name and it's part of my sister's name. My sister always called me ST, and her name is Bethany, so they was kind of put together and became the name of our company.
Ground was broken for the greenhouse in the fall of 2011, seeds were planted in December, and by April of 2012, St. Bethany Fresh was selling tomatoes from a farm stand. Leah Beth Murphy says you'd be hard-pressed to find an operation in the state offering year-round fresh produce, which is what sparked the idea for St. Bethany Fresh.
I think in my family we have an entrepreneurial spirit, and one of those things that come along with that is seeing what is missing in a market. We're selling right now at farmers market. It's farmers market season. We're selling in Oxford and Tupelo, selling out every week so far. We're selling in a few restaurants in Tupelo and a few wholesale markets around in Bruce, Water Valley, Pontotoc, Tupelo.
Additionally, Murphy says one day she'd like to add other kinds of vegetables to the operation. Stephen Hale says the greenhouse is not built from conventional materials growers normally use.
It is a hydroponic greenhouse. It is completely computerized, as in temperature controlled, and our fertilizer is irrigated through the system computer-wise. Now we have to mix the fertilizer and keep everything up. And then we have to actually maintain the plants, but the rest of it is computerized and keeps the building temperatures controlled.
As for the unusual looking wall on the end of the structure, Hale says it's called a wet wall used for temperature control.
The wet wall, it kind of acts like a radiator does. Whenever the temperature gets too hot in here, the computer will tell the wet wall to come on, and water flows from a pipe in the top down through the wet wall, and then we have big fans on the other side of the building that actually suck air from the outside through the wet wall, and it helps cool the temperature down here and keep the humidity down.
In addition, Leah Beth Murphy explains why there's no need for chemical pesticides at St. Bethany Fresh.
We have a insect exclusion room that can kind of provide that for us, where when that wet wall does come on, the computer opens the vent doors and sucks in that air from the fans through that wet wall. We have an insect netting over that south wall, so when the fans pull that air through the vent door, through the wet wall, it's not sucking in any insects, and we don't have to use chemical pesticides.
Another unconventional process in the greenhouse is growing tomatoes in perlite instead of composted pine bark or soil. Perlite is weed-free, has a neutral pH, and serves well as a fertilizer carrier and a drainage component. Stephen Hale says all materials for the greenhouse came from one source.
Everything comes from the company that we started out with. It comes with the whole entire greenhouse, down to our fertilizer, to our packaging of our actual tomatoes that we sell out of, the flats that we sell out of. Everything, every detail in there comes all in a package deal.
Needless to say, Hale and his family have been pleased with the product. But even with the convenient aspects of the facility, Leah Beth Murphy says caring for the plants is still a big job.
These plants get out of control quick, and we've learned the hard way at times that they can grow up over our cable, and we don't want to lose any fruit, we don't want to lose any plants, so we have to stay on top of them continually. Breaking leaves, as you see, we leave about 8 to 10 leaves on each plant, and this doesn't take away from the fruit production and the quality, color, taste, most importantly.
Murphy says lots of research was done before starting the operation. She and her family attended workshops on greenhouse tomatoes and are working closely with the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Rick Snyder, MSU Extension vegetable specialist, talks about how he found out about St. Bethany Fresh.
I got an email from, I think it was from the 4-H agent here who had visited the greenhouse. And once I found out there was a producer, I called him up on the phone and we had a nice chat. And this is a family-run operation, and I told him about the greenhouse tomato short course, and next thing I know, he sent his daughter down, Leah, Beth, and she came down to the greenhouse tomato short course in March, and we've been in contact since then.
Since learning about St. Bethany Fresh, Snyder says he admires the family's attention to detail. Additionally, he points out the clever way St. Bethany Fresh pollinates its plants.
This greenhouse is using bumblebees for pollinating the plants. That's another way to pollinate. A lot of growers will use a vibrating pollinator and hand pollinate every other day in the greenhouse. If the greenhouse is big enough, bumblebees can be used, and they do an equally good job, but it takes that labor away from having to hire people or do it yourself.
In addition, Snyder emphasizes that it's important for those interested in any facet of agriculture to get information and advice from the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Leah Beth Murphy says she and her family are happy with the progress of St. Bethany Fresh, and future plans are still ahead.
We have big dreams of even schools and hospitals. You know, I'd love for that bureaucratic red tape to be something, you know, my daughter didn't have to fight to get healthy, freshly grown vegetables or any kind of produce in her, you know, kids' schools. Right now, that's a fight. It's a fight, and it shouldn't be like that.
Additionally, Murphy says customers and families often come to tour the facility and learn more about hydroponics. What she enjoys most are good times with her family and getting positive feedback on St. Bethany products.
We're just having a lot of fun right now, and I know that sounds cheesy, but this has been so much fun for my family and I, and to reap the benefits of, you know, seeing how people are responding to the product, because that's the most important thing. We may have beautiful plants, we may have a wonderful facility, we may have beautiful tomatoes, but if they don't taste good, it's all for naught. So we're really excited about how people are responding to our tomatoes.
With St. Bethany Fresh being the first hydroponic operation in Northeast Mississippi, Leah Beth, Stephen, and their family hope others will follow in the future. From Pontotoc, Mississippi, I'm Amy Taylor reporting. And we'll have links and contact information for St. Bethany Fresh on our Facebook page and Farmweek website.
Thank you, Amy. Good job.